Beneath the streets of Paris, the most romantic city in the world, the city of art, of fashion, of the Eiffel Tower and candlelit bistros, there are 6 million human skeletons. Not buried, not hidden in coffins, arranged, stacked, displayed, skulls, lined up in neat rows, femur bones arranged in decorative patterns, an entire empire of the dead stretching for 300 kilometers beneath the city, and the living walk right over it every single day without thinking about it. But here is what the tour guides do not tell you. The official catacombs are just a tiny fraction of what is actually down there. The real tunnels, the ones you cannot book a ticket for, they go much further, they go much deeper, and in those unauthorized sections, things have happened that nobody has been able to explain. Tonight, we are going in. Section 1, how 6 million people ended up underground. To understand Paris's underground, you have to understand a crisis. By the late 1700s, Paris was drowning in its own dead. The city had grown so rapidly, so chaotically, that its cemeteries were completely overwhelmed. Bodies were stacked in mass graves. Decomposing remains were contaminating the water supply. In 1786, city officials made a decision that sounds absolutely insane when you say it out loud. They would transfer the remains of every person buried in the city's overflowing cemeteries into the ancient limestone quarries that already ran beneath the city. Those quarries had been there since the Middle Ages. Paris had literally been mined from the inside out to build its cathedrals and palaces. Now, those empty tunnels would become the world's largest ossuary. Over the next 12 years, workers transported the bones of 6 million people into the underground network. They worked at night, by torchlight, in processions that wound through the sleeping city. The bones were carried in carts, lowered through shafts, and then, meticulously, deliberately, arranged. Someone made the decision to turn this into something aesthetic, to stack skulls in patterns, to create archways from arm bones, to build walls of human remains. And that raises a question that historians have never fully answered. Who decided that? And why did it matter so much to them that it looked beautiful? For decades, there has been a subculture in Paris of people called cataphiles, people who descend illegally into the non-public sections of the catacombs. They hold parties down there. They have built art installations. Some have lived down there for weeks at a time. The French authorities know about them and periodically try to stop them. But with 300 kilometers of tunnels, it is essentially impossible. Most cataphiles are adventurers, but some of them have had experiences that they struggle to describe rationally. Multiple independent accounts from people who do not know each other across different decades describe the same thing. Being in a tunnel, deep in the non-public section, in complete silence, and then hearing something behind them. Not footsteps, not an echo, something that sounded like breathing, close. And when they turned, there was nothing there. But here is the case that haunts me the most. In 1793, while the bones were still being transferred, a worker named Philibert Asper descended into the tunnels alone during his lunch break.
He was curious.
He had a single candle, and he never came back. For 11 years, his colleagues assumed he had simply left the city. Then, in 1804, workers found his body deep in the tunnel system. He had gotten lost, in the dark, with a candle that eventually burned out. He had wandered for what must have been days before finally stopping in a tunnel and lying down. He was less than 30 meters from a staircase that would have let him out. He never found it. Today, there is a plaque on that spot. People leave flowers there. Sometimes, when cataphiles pass that plaque, they say they feel something. Not fear exactly, something more like the sensation of being watched from behind them, in a direction where there is nothing but darkness and bone. In September 2004, a team from the French National Police was conducting a training exercise in the catacombs when they discovered something that stopped them completely. In a large underground chamber, in a section of tunnel that appeared on no map, they found a fully operational cinema. Not the remnants of one, a working one. There were stone-carved seats facing a full-size screen. There was a functioning projector. There was an extensive film library, hundreds of titles, and behind an adjacent wall, there was a fully stocked bar and restaurant. Prepared food, good wine, electricity supplied by a generator wired directly into the city's power grid, and attached to the generator, a note. The note read, "Do not try to find us." The police reported the finding. They set up surveillance. They returned 3 days later to investigate further. The room was completely empty. Every piece of equipment had been removed. The screen, the projector, the food, the wine, gone. Every cable had been disconnected. Even the note was gone. No one was ever identified. No group ever claimed responsibility. The police searched for months. Nothing. Whoever had built that cinema, whoever had been using it, possibly for years, had dismantled everything and vanished in 3 days. Through a tunnel network with no exits on any official map. They were there, and then they were not. And if they could do that, if they could build a life down there, in the dark, among the dead, and then disappear so completely, what else is down there that we do not know about? Here is a fact that does not get discussed enough. The 300 kilometers of Paris catacombs that have been documented, the ones that researchers have mapped, represent only a portion of the actual tunnel network beneath the city. The 300 kilometers of Paris catacombs that have been documented, the ones that researchers have mapped, represent only a portion of the actual tunnel network beneath the city. Geologists and urban historians have estimated that the real extent of the underground quarries, natural caves, medieval infrastructure, and constructed passages beneath Paris could be 2 to 3 times larger than what has been officially surveyed. 2 to 3 times. Think about what that means. For every tunnel that is on a map, there may be 2 or 3 that are not. Somewhere in those unmapped sections, in darkness that has not been broken by human light, in perhaps centuries, 6 million people's remains are still resting in chambers that no living person has entered. But here is the question that I genuinely cannot stop thinking about. We know that cataphiles regularly access the unauthorized sections. We know that parties have been held, art has been made, entire social events have occurred down there. If regular civilians have been doing this for decades, what might a well-resourced, well-organized group have built? What is possible in 300+ kilometers of underground space when no one is watching? The secret cinema tells us one answer, but the people who built it made sure we would never find out the full one. 6 million skeletons arranged with deliberate care. A man who wandered for days in the dark, 30 meters from safety, and never found it. A functioning cinema that vanished in 3 days. And hundreds of kilometers of tunnels that no living person has fully explored. Paris, the city of light. The light stops at the pavement. Beneath it, the darkness is absolute. And in that darkness, something remains. Something that has chosen, very deliberately, not to be found. If this series has made you feel like the surface world is thinner than you thought, like the ground beneath you might be hiding more than you have ever considered, then you are exactly the kind of person I made this channel for. Subscribe, like this video, turn on notifications for more mysteries and horror videos.